Hi, everyone. I hope you had a great 4th of July weekend. Just gonna wait for everyone to come in before I share my screen. Numbers are still hopping up. I know I enjoyed the 3-day weekend. Had a lot of fun. My nieces, lots of 4th of July themed stuff. Well, you know, it's a Monday. Okay, it looks like we've kind of slowed down a little bit. Oh, I'm glad you had a good day, Mia. I am so glad. Yeah, new names, which is great.
Oh, poor bird.
Oh, good day to you too. I'm sorry, I was excited that you had a great 4th of July. Okay, so we've slowed down a little bit, so I'm just going to get started. Again, you know, all these videos are on YouTube to look over when you want. But this week, we are going over RealScout, which is by far one of my favorite tools. If I'm allowed to have favorite tools, I don't know if that's like, you know, favorite children or something, but I love RealScout a lot. So I'm excited to just dive into this with you. Now,
Natalie, just make sure you explain what RealScout is and why it's important.
yes. So RealScout basically is automated emails that go out and a search for clients that the agents can basically set them up with. And one of the reasons that we love it so much is I just wanted to show this screen real quick before I actually dive into the tool. But this is why we love it, because this is, you know, these are the emails that that the agent's clients are going to get. They have nice little like wording here. Nice. Well, okay, this maybe not so nice picture, but and they can just click into it, and then it's just it's a whole website that the agent's name is posted. It's dedicated to the agent. They can't possibly find anyone else. And then there's just so much information for the client, and the agent can just see everything that they're doing. And so we love RealScout for that purpose, as a great search engine for the agents to use and to set you know, their clients up in, so they have this great space where they can even do their own searches, you know, like they do on Zillow and Realtor and all those other search sites anyways. However, this one is just locked into the agent, and it's easy for them to reach out to the agent. And so they just love it. So
Hey, Natalie, can I add something to that? So one of the things about RealScout that makes it really nice for an agent is that it's interactive with the client. So the client's preferences don't exclude anything. And so it has a 15 times higher open rate than other searches because it's very unique to them. So it'll have specific natural language that speaks to things that they prefer. So that preferences, that artificial intelligence is a huge factor in RealScout and why it's preferable.
Yeah, and there's so much you can do with it. I love getting into RealScout, but basically we just wanted to go over a couple things that, you know, if you have an agent that hasn't used it yet and wanted to get into it, or if an agent is struggling with just anything, we just wanted to go over a few things so that you know what direction to point them in. In regards to the homework, we were told that most of you should possibly have the access to it. They tested a couple people and they did. However, I've heard that a lot of people don't. So please let us know if you have access or don't have access to this tool. Yours would be limited just because, you know, licensing and all of that. So it's not the full access, but definitely let one of us know if you have access or not, and we will make that list up. As well as I would definitely have one of your agents sign you up as a client just so that you see the client side of it. It's pretty great. And that's, I think, the best way to learn is to make yourself a client. That's how I learned. So now I'm going to just go back to my dashboard and actually just go over the homework with you guys. Any other questions on the why of RealScout before we go over this?
I don't see any questions, Natalie.
All right. So again, like all of the tools, RealScout is found off of your dashboard. It is one of the top buttons up here because it is one of our more prominent tools and is used a lot. A lot of agents just love it and it's great. So all on their dashboard, they get this live feed and they see people who've commented. So the first thing we wanted to go over is how to add a client because that is clearly the most important. If they do ask you, you know, I already have clients in here. Clients do feed in from open to close for that. And they should get set up if they're not to integrate to that. So open to close will feed into RealScout, and that's one of the great reasons why we like using open to close is just because we've had a lot of agents get leads just from those follow-up emails, and the client clicks on it, loves the RealScout platform, and then just, you know, wants to go see these houses that you're sending them that, you know, the agent didn't even realize they were sending. So to add a new client, right up at the top, there's a big orange button that just says add client. And you'll notice the star here and the star here are really the required information. Agents, of course, need an email because it's an email automated system. So if they're going to get those emails, they need an email. And then the financial information due to our partnership. So you can, you know, pick what they are, and there's even that don't know option if you're not sure. So again, you know, they'd put in their first and last name, phone number, and source is optional to the agent. You know, what they want to put in. This does feed into Engage CRM. So, you know, if they want to fill out all the information, that's going to feed over. And then the source is just, you know, whether it's, you know, their farm neighborhood that they've been building or a COI or whatever. And then the two options down here are basically the me option means that the agent is going to set up their search for them. And the my client is where you're just sending them a welcome email and inviting them to set up a search for themselves. So it's important to know the difference because I have agents strongly on the me and strongly on the my client. Again, that's why the tools have options because every agent is different in how they do business. So that's how you add a new client. And when I click this, it would just take me to that search to start the search for this client, which RealScout alerts are what they call searches. So that's important if, you know, an agent is confused because they don't know how to set up a search really easy. It's because it's this other button, add alert. If you click that, we're gonna go into here. We can even pick our client right from the top. There's so many me's in here. This is also where they could find, you know, the specifics. It is important to note, you know, we'll do a single family search. So sometimes if they're comparing with their MLS, a lot of agents, if they're new to doing this, might do that to just see if the options are all the same and they're getting some different numbers. A lot of times it's because the MLS is, you know, doing a broader search than the single family. So that's important. And that will lead to one of our other questions about the difference between this advanced search here or an all property class basic search.
Hey, Natalie, I just saw a question. I think it was probably a good time to answer it. Someone said, can you just review the difference between me and my client? Did you get that? So when you go to create the search, did you answer that question?
I didn't answer the question, but I did talk about it. The difference between me and my client, me, the agent, is setting up a search for the client, and then they're going to basically start getting those emails about houses in that search. And then the my client is you're inviting the client to come and set up their search themselves. You know, click on this set up a search for yourself.
We would always recommend that if an agent asks you if they should set it up or their client, we would always say that the agent should set it up. We would never give them access to the MLS to do it. Unless it's someone who's pretty computer savvy and willing to, then that's fine. But typically that would be you click me there. And then another question, Natalie, that would have come up while you were talking. Susan, great question. Can clients access RealScout on their own, or do they need to be affiliated with an agent? Do you want me to answer this? You want to answer it?
RealScout, I believe they have to be affiliated with an agent.
Yeah. So Susan, that's an awesome question. And this happened. So it is. We say it's a public-facing search portal so that they have access to this. But when you go in as a client, the entire time in the left-hand corner is going to be that agent's information. It's going to ask like. It's going to show all of their stuff. Every time they like a property, it's going to go to that agent. And this is one of the questions that Natalie will review, but they can actually put a link online for people to join them on RealScout. So they might not even know the agent that they're affiliated with through the app, but you cannot get access to this unless you've clicked on from an agent's invite. Natalie, I'm sorry, I'm just trying to keep up with this. Did you tell them that they might not have access?
Yep.
Okay. So if you don't have access, do we have a game plan for what they should be doing for their homework?
Yeah. So if you can't, have that access, then, just watching the videos and just kind of typing in, this is where they would find the button, like, right off of the dashboard, the add client button's right up at the top. It's a big orange button right here. Add alert is the same for that. And then definitely let someone on the education team know that you don't have access because we're compiling.
If you guys don't have access, you email me. So it's just going to one point of contact. My name's down there spelled, it's a lot of vowels. Send it to me and then I can reach out to some people from IT and we'll see what we can do about getting people access. Last question and then I'm signing off here, Natalie. Can you repeat the add alert meaning? What's the difference between add alert and add client?
Yep, so adding a client is you're putting someone into your into the system, into your sphere. Whereas adding an alert, you're creating a search. So you could be creating a search for, one client could have multiple searches. They don't just need to have one. So say if a client has a search and they want another one, or, it could be a recurring client where, they did buy a house, but now either they're an investor and they want to buy another one, or it's, come time and they want to sell again. And you don't want to re-add them into the system as a new client. You just want to add a search for them. And I can show you that as well under clients. If I go to my random person here. So I just went to clients and I clicked on one. The first thing right here is email alerts. And if I had multiple, they would just show up down here. It would show me all of them in that list for how many alerts that they have. A lot of people will probably just have one, but if someone is really into it, they could maybe make up their own search as well. That's something that they can do. Okay, so with alerts, which are searches, another thing that you can do is you need to know the difference between advanced or basic search. So say if you have a lead that came in from an open to close, your agent does, they're going to get set up in a very basic search. So you can see right here, this is really the only options that this search has for the client. It's just a very basic one that you can edit or whatnot. And then if we go to the advanced search option where I'm clicking one of these, you're going to have every field available that's in the MLS. So there's so many more options here. And even if I do add remove search options, and just type in pool, which is one I just use, for example, a lot. I mean, it has every field from, the selling agent's state. Just whatever's in the MLS, it is in here. So that's the difference between an advanced and a basic search. The basic search just has a very limited criteria that you can choose from. And a lot of times if someone's automatically going in there, they'll be set up as that, just a basic search. versus the advanced search, which has a lot more options.
Natalie,
Mhm.
just because this one comes up a lot in our area, agents will often ask about how to find out, like if there's a first floor owner suite or in-law suite, and you can go to add public comments and you can type that in under public comments and just add that field, and you can type whatever you want. So if there's something specific they're looking for that they're not finding, that there's not a question for, that's the box to use to try to eliminate that. But if you're doing something like a first floor bedroom, you have to think of all the ways an agent might list it, like the number 1 ST, FIRST. So you have to think of all of the different options that could be available. But that's a really great field, and a lot of agents ask this question.
Yep. So yeah, so that's for the public remarks. So definitely add something that's not there. Oh,
Are we driving you crazy, Natalie?
not at all.
I just want to point out the one thing that that comes up a lot that I find is that if someone comes in from an open house, this would not have central air. And right now it's like 90 degrees. I was just telling Natalie I'm like way too hot up in my own house. So if someone came in through an open house and they were like, oh, I want everything to stay the same, but can you add central air? That agent would actually have to start over with an advanced search to get that in there. So that tends to be a pretty popular question.
Yeah, so a lot of times if they ask, you know, can we just bump it up to advanced, you're just going to have to mark down what the fields are in the basic search and then just redo it. So definitely make sure before they get rid of the basic search that they put down what that criteria was. Editing an active search. So if we are again in clients where I was showing before with this random person and how you can see their alerts here. So here, right here, if I just wanted to disable it, I could do that or delete it, you know, depending on the circumstances. But if I want to edit it, edit a criteria, we just do this view edit option here. So if I click on that, it's going to take me to all, you know, the houses, but we're going to go up to edit filters. So you view edit, and then you have to make sure that you edit the filters. This is a basic search. Here, and then I would save it. If it was an advanced search, it would work, you know, the same way with the advanced options here. And then I would just make the edits I want and save it up to the top right. So again, this button over here is how you're going to get to the edit filters. It's kind of in the middle top. And then to the top right is where you would actually save the changes you make once you've edited. Okay, so that's just very smidgen of everything RealScout can do. So in these tabs, now I'm going to go under my account and I'm going to go under settings. This is where they can put in their phone number here. And basically it would say, you know, is this your number? Verify your number. They would click verify, and then they'd get a code on their phone, which they would then type in, and then voila, you get to where I'm at. So that basically to check if they're getting text alerts is my account settings. Again, it's up to your agent if they want to get these text messages or if they're, you know, I already get emails on my phone. I don't need to add it. Some love it, some don't, but they need to know where the option is, and that's under my account to the top left, that little arrow in settings right here, and then just make sure this is check marked to get anything, and I'll show you that in a second. And
Natalie, you have a question from Kathy. She's wondering, who did you say we should add as a client?
I would add yourself. I think that's the best way to just learn the program. If you have an alternative email like a Gmail or something, just put yourself in, or, you know, some family member. That I think is the best way, because then you can see what they both look like and you can see the communication between the two of them. That's how I learned with that. And then I don't have to, you know, worry about messing anything up because it's just me. All right, so under my profile, which is again under my account, So here, right here is where we can get that link that Kate was talking about to share everywhere, that your agents can share. That's under your RealScout home buyer experience. If they just copy this, you know, they just copy it. And then if they go, you know, to their Facebook here, their business page or whatever. Oh, okay, well, that's not a good time. No, we're good. Okay. They would just come in here and they would just paste it. And then it's going to come up, you know, and this is one way that they can get this out to clients and have people just sign up themselves because they're interested in it. And honestly, if the agents use words like it's, you know, more accurate because it's uploading right from the MLS and it's safer because we're not selling their information, they can get a lot of people with this tool. So that's that. And then to edit your welcome.
Natalie, they're asking if you can show that again, please.
Yep. Okay, so we're on the dashboard here. I go up to my account and I go to my profile. So that's the top left. Then my profile here. It's this link right up here under your RealScout home buyer experience. I'm just left clicking to hold down to highlight it all. And then I'm going to right click and copy. And then I'm going to go to Facebook. I do not like this new layout of Facebook at all, but they did not ask me. And then I'm just right clicking and pasting that link and this will come up. So there is that. And then they could just post it, encourage people to share it if they love it, you know, and get the word out for that. And then in the same under my account, my profile, right under here is the welcome message that, you know, your agents can customize for their clients, or if they're wondering, you know, what is this sending out to my client? Say, here's your default welcome message. Edit it, personalize it, make it come from you, and then always encourage them to set themselves up as a client. Because again, that's the best way to learn, is seeing both sides. And when you don't have that pressure of, you know, having it go straight to a client the first time you're trying it out, it takes a lot of pressure off of them. So that basically is just kind of some of the questions and that we wanted you guys to know for when agents come to you with those questions, and you know how you can direct them and point them. With that, just some quick tips. And then I wanted to stop screen sharing. Now show just some of the things with my phone. So we're going to pull my phone screen up. All right, here we go. So on my phone, there are two apps. There is an agent app, which is this black one. And then the white one that just says RealScout, so the top left, that is the other option. And that's for your client. One of the big ways to tell the difference is just on the client one, you're going to see to the bottom right, it says My Agent. So you know you're in a client view based on the menu options at the bottom. And then if I go into the agent one, the black one in the middle, down at the bottom, you know, it's going to say My Clients. So that's a big way to know which app you're in, because that does come up. Sometimes a lot of people will sign in and be a client and not an agent, and we want them to be an agent. And then also reaching out to a client, they can click client here, and if I click on my random person, right at the top, there's my number, there's my email, you know, and I can text, email, message them right here. And the options are going to be based on the information you have. So, you know, this person doesn't have a phone number, so the call and text option isn't here. But I could, you know, edit them and put in more information if I wanted. But that's reaching out to a client on the app. It is important to note that you can do a lot more on the computer than the app. The app is really for mainly, you know, quick responses to people. So when you're set up, this is the last question. When you're set up for those texting alerts and you get one, you don't want to just respond. You don't want the agents to just respond text message. With that, you want them to come in here and go to the inbox. And then if they click on them here, then they can come down and type that message and reply to them. So it's really important for them to go into the agent app and reply. So down at the bottom via inboxes, which kind of gets cut off, but it does say inbox. It's the second menu option from the left. And then they can just click on this and reply to any of the messages. Which also, when you get that text alert, if you have the app, you'll also get an app alert. And so that's basically just the homework questions of just being able to help the agents if they come to you and, you know, I got this text alert, what do I do with it? Let's go into the app and reply to them that way. So
yeah, I was just going to say, one of the things that agents ask about, because it comes up when they're being trained, is they can add preferences to the client, and they often think it's under the search. It's under the client tab. So it's the client's preferences instead of a search preference. The search is generic, the preferences are the client's. So just if you want to keep that straight in your mind, that's something that comes up quite a bit. Otherwise, anybody else have any questions? If you do, put them in the chat. It says, can you show how to reach out to a client again, Natalie? Jacqueline is asking.
Yep, so if you, you know, if you don't say have your client in, or they don't have their client in their phone number and they want to reach out through RealScout, then they're just going to click the black agent one, and down at the bottom they can find their client right here. Click on them and send them an email right there, or message them. And then also, you know, inbox, if you know they have reached out to the agent and you want to respond, it's the menu buttons are at the bottom, which I'm not sure you can see my whole screen there, but you would just click on that. You could start a new one here.
Okay, and you're getting a question about where is the app and what is it called? Where do you get the app?
Yeah, so I downloaded these from that we got a help guide where I downloaded these apps, but it should be in the store. So if I go, I'm on an Apple. I'm sorry for anyone on an Android, but if you search, I mean, we're just gonna do it right now. See what comes up. Yep. So RealScout home search right up there. I think it's the only one. Okay.
No, there's an agent dashboard one,
Yeah,
for the agents.
then down here.
And you can also get that in Google Play.
Yeah,
Play Store,
which is the Android. Yeah. So if you just search RealScout in either the App Store or in the Google Play Store, you'll see the RealScout agent dashboard, which is what we want our agents to download. And then their clients can just download the home search.
So Jean is asking, so if you get a text on your phone, will it also be in your RealScout app or the agent app?
It will be in the agent dashboard app. So usually when I'm like teaching a class, I'll type up a message right here, and then my phone will ping once with the agent dashboard notification and also with the text message, since I have them both set up to alert me. But it's important that you want to go into the agent dashboard. A great thing with the agent dashboard app is that if you forget your password, because with RealScout, when an agent first signs in, they have to make up a password. that's different from, you know, just the Howard Hanna one, basically for this app. And so if you forget that password, because I'm not in this agent dashboard app very often, I forget it all the time. You can just do log in with email link, and it will send your email something, and you click on it and it says open an app, and I say yes, and then I'm logged in.
All right, so somebody else asked, where was it? Oh, the preferences. So on the preferences, on the client preferences, they're under the client tab, not the search tab. And the preferences, it's like hundreds of items in a drop-down list. And it's things like they'd like a fireplace, they'd like to be near a fire hall or not near a fire hall. So they can say there's things that they like, things that they don't like, and things that they're neutral on. So if they don't answer like or dislike, it's neutral, it's considered neutral. It doesn't exclude any search items like it does in the MLS. And the preferences, they actually work in the emails. So if I had 3 clients looking for a $250,000 house in the same neighborhood, but one of them wanted a fireplace and an open floor plan, it might say, hi, you may have missed this listing with an open floor plan and a wood burning fireplace, and then give that address, where somebody else says, well, I want a 2-car garage, I need a finished basement, I want a pool. If that same house had those features, that's the wording that would be used in the natural language, which is why it has a 15 times higher open rate, because it speaks to the preferences. So Natalie just opened on her screen, all the blue hearts are things that they like, and there's a drop down, but it's under the client tab. It's client's preferences. You can have the same search set up for many people, but the client tab is going to have those preferences. Does that answer your question?
But yeah, and again, some clients will love it, some won't use it, but really it just helps with the AI to just draw people's attention. And also just, if you have a list, like 10 listings showing up in your search, the one with the most likes will be at the top, but they'll all still be there.
Yeah. So somebody asked, what's the difference between RealScout and BuySide? Do you want to answer that? Do you want me to answer that for you?
I can answer that. So RealScout is like an automated email search where, you know, you're setting up your client. They can look at all these houses, all this great stuff. And with BuySide, it's one of the main pushes is, you know, to help your seller decide, you know, now is a good time to sell. I have all these buyers out here that could want my home.
I'm gonna add to that just something really quick, if that's okay. RealScout is meant for the consumer. BuySide is meant for the agent. The only thing in BuySide that an agent or that a client would see would be if they made a presentation. It's really the state of the market. This is in lieu of an automated email system. These are for buyers looking to buy a house. BuySide's really for a seller trying to get ready to sell. So they have some similarities, but the main purpose of each of them is very different. I hope that helps.
Yeah, BuySide isn't a search so much as a matching tool. I like to think of it as a dating app, trying to find the right person for the right house. It brings people together, where RealScout is helping them do an actual search. So they're very different. So let's see, I think that's everything. Can you show how to reach out? We did that one. I'm looking at the questions. I think we're good. Anybody have any additional questions? We want to let you go on time. If you do, put it in the Q&A. I think you're good, Natalie.
All right. Well, thank you guys all for coming, and I hope you have a great week. And let us know if you have any questions that come up during the week.
Okay, guys, thanks. Have a great week. We will see you on Friday.
Bye.
Good job, Natalie.